Conducting an ecumenical social week in Ukraine has become a tradition for Lviv. This forum is a unique and resonating phenomenon, which for the third year in a row has united people of goodwill around important issues far from society's attention. This year's event was conducted under the motto, Trust, Responsibility, Philanthropy. The theme was not chosen by accident. In a time that faces a crisis of Christian values of mutual help and love of neighbor, kindness and charity must become a basis for creating a new philanthropic worldview model, where trust and responsibility are fundamental principles. The Ecumenical Social Week is part of a network of social weeks. The organizers of this year's Ecumenical Social Week were the Lviv City Council, Lviv Regional Council and Regional State Administration, Institute of Ecumenical Studies, Ukrainian Catholic University, and Lviv Polytechnic National University. The organizers wish to thank the week's main partners, the Aid Association, Christians of France in Service of Christians of the East, Ufort Orient, and the Bradley Foundation USA.
Also grateful to partners, Kirk in Exim, Katholike Vereniging for Oikoumene, DVV International.
The organizers are also grateful to volunteers, students of the Institute of Ecumenical Studies of Ukrainian Catholic University and Lviv Polytechnic National University for their active help in preparing and conducting the forum.
After
the fall of communism, it has become necessary to find a new direction, which is committed to Christian principles and which is more righteous. The theme philanthropy is not for present-day utopians. In the USA, more than 10% of the population works in philanthropic organizations that are worth billions of dollars. This model can be a good example for Ukraine because only two major values are required: trust on one side and responsibility on the other. The third Ecumenical Social Week began with the assembly of the National Council of the Ecumenical Social Week, the purpose of which primarily was to spread its positive experience in Ukraine. The activity of the National Council, which consists of representatives from 10 cities, Kiev, Poltava, Sumy, Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, Chernivtsi, Ternopil, Odessa, Kherson, Mykolaiv, is directed at realizing the social doctrine of the churches, developing and lobbying for legislative initiatives, and integrating Ukraine into the international democratic and ecumenical space. In their speeches, representatives from different cities supported and expressed their agreement with the idea of conducting similar forums throughout Ukraine in 2011 and to raise the issue to a national scale, and therefore to develop a national network of ecumenical social weeks. The honored guest of the assembly was Bernard Chenevet, Vice President of Social Weeks in France, with the aim of following how levels of trust between countries and people influence business performance, analyzing the situation concerning trust in Ukraine, and drawing attention to the most important points necessary for its building. The roundtable, Trust as the Foundation of Building Effective Business, was conducted. Owners and top managers of the business community of the Lviv Business School, representatives of non-state public organizations participating in the Ecumenical Social Week, and leading foreign specialists took part in the roundtable. The principal speaker at the meeting was Martin Reiser, Chief Representative of the World Bank for Ukraine, Moldova, and Belarus.
My hypothesis would be the success of modern industrialized nations is to a very large extent due to the fact that in these anonymous interactions, people trust one another rather than distrust one another.
The fourth day of the third Ecumenical Social Week began with the opening of the academic conference Trust, Responsibility, Philanthropy at Lviv Polytechnic National University. In their reports, the speakers emphasized the activity of philanthropic organizations in the world and the development of this field in Ukraine.
Застанова над довірою є важлива, бо нам треба це.
It is very important to focus on trust as we worked at healing social and personal relationships. Responsibility is derived from trust and enables us to take risks and become benefactors.
Можливо ли нам ризикнути стати благодійниками?
Also participating in the conference were such honored guests as Katerina Yushchenko, chairman of the board of the International Charitable Foundation Ukraine 3000, Mark Hardy, Doctor of Philosophy and Director of Nonprofit Executive Education at the University of Notre Dame, USA, Roman Huet, Catholic University of Lille, Ethics Department, France, and Ruslan Kraplich, Director of the Anti-Crisis Humanity Program of the International Renaissance Foundation, Kyiv.
Питання філантропії, всі соціальні питання наші сьогодні – це…
The question of philanthropy and all social questions today are moral problems. Problems to be solved by the people, by the church, by society. And only after that can the state develop programs to deal with these problems.
Програми, які можуть їх вирішувати.
There are people who trust each other. There are communities of people who trust each other. And the faith here is very strong. The church, whatever church people belong to, is very central to their life.
In the context of the conference theme, roundtables were conducted during which participants had the opportunity to discuss in a more detailed way the development of philanthropy in the world, the activity of philanthropic organizations in Ukraine, the question of percentage philanthropy, and effective legislation as a foundation of civil society's development. Also on this day, the project Observatory of Successful Initiatives was presented. It aims to unite all successful ecumenical and philanthropic initiatives from all over Ukraine, realized by organizations as well as funds, communities, parishes, and individuals.
And the more people give, the happier they are. We have a tendency to think that when we give something, we make good to the other person. Well, when you have the experience of giving, you realize that it's the other person that is receiving that make you happier.
We need, and not only we in Ukraine, but in the entire world, a whole generation to turn back to the simple evangelic testament. We cannot love God if we do not love our neighbor. Much attention was given to legislative regulation of the support of nonprofit organizations. Natalia Alexeyeva spoke about the bill on applying changes to certain laws of Ukraine concerning support of nonprofit organizations. At the present roundtable, today's philanthropic question has moved into a different scope. It should be viewed as separate legislation. It should be viewed in the frame of the taxation code. That is why it is very important that in Ukraine there is a deregulation of civic activity. The legislation has to be simplified to give the possibility to easily and quickly organize different associations, register them, finance them, organize social services, help people, make contributions, and organize charitable events. As part of the third Ecumenical Social Week, participants and guests were able to see with their own eyes what Ukrainian philanthropy is like by visiting social organizations in Lviv. The participants visited the Street Children's Center, which is developing with the support of Caritas, the Lviv Educational and Rehabilitation Center DREAM, and the Lviv Regional Center for AIDS Prevention. Visiting social organizations is a possibility to meet public activists, those who need society's help and attention. This year, the Ecumenical Social Week again approached the subject of education and its role in solving social issues. This year, the question was discussed in an open space format, organized by the representative of the German non-governmental organization, German Association of People's Universities in Ukraine. On October 8th, as part of the week, the scholarly practical conference, Christian Ethics in the System of Contemporary Education, was organized by the Institute of Ecumenical Studies of the Ukrainian Catholic University, together with the main Department of Education and Science of the Lviv Regional State Administration, with the participation of the Lviv Regional Institute of Postgraduate Pedagogical Studies. The conference was attended by representatives of authorities, churches of different denominations, guests from abroad, and a large number of teachers of Christian ethics who celebrated 20 years of teaching this subject at Lviv regional schools.
In the school, students should learn how to be responsible, moral, democratic citizens. And for that, a subject like religious education or Christian ethics is very, very important.
Christian ethics opens the spiritual dimension of the world to pupils and children. It indicates that apart from something concrete, there are eternal values in the world. It indicates that these values are based on something beautiful, good, and loving. It indicates that it is possible to live according to these values, to overcome evil with love, and to strengthen our confidence and belief that we are able to do this. We are teaching our children Christian values, spirituality, and the Ukrainian spirit. The fundamentals of teaching these subjects were started at UKU already 20 years ago. On October 8th, roundtables prepared by the organizers of the week took place. Discussion themes included the collaboration of city and church, issues of conflict and agreement in society, and the interaction of the laity in social and charitable spheres. Representatives of the media had the opportunity to discuss the media's role in solving social problems, and to become familiar with the national contest, Reporters of Hope in Ukraine. The Ecumenical Social Week again touched upon the role of the past and the present. Scholars and activists of Ukraine and Germany reminded everyone and themselves of a world that has been forgotten by the consciousness of many. This was the subject of which the exhibit seminar of the Peace Museum, Library of Peace, titled A Forgotten World, was dedicated, presented in Lviv in memory of the Jewish community of the city. Participants of the week were given an opportunity to rethink the past deeply during the film, 3 Stories of Galicia, directed by Olya Olnishko and Sarah Farhat. The film is a stunning, lively example of reconciliation between Christians and Jews, Russians, Ukrainians, and Poles, based upon trust and responsibility. An honored guest of the presentation was one of the main actresses of the film, Olga Ilkiv. A Day of Trust was held once more in Lviv. This day, which was prepared together with the ecumenical Christian community of Taizé, began with morning prayer, greeting from a brother of the Taizé community, and reading the Bible. The purpose of the meeting was to gather people from different cities, with different views and of different creeds, for acquaintance and sharing of experience. Youth participated in liturgies in Roman Catholic, Greek Catholic, and Orthodox churches. On October 9th, at Market Square, an exhibit fair of social organizations was conducted. Some 20 social organizations participated in the exhibition by presenting their activities, realized projects, worked at integrating people with special needs, and presented their handmade goods. To present their activities, organizations came to the fair from other Ukrainian cities and also from abroad. And of course, Lviv social services and youth organizations participated as well. During the Ecumenical Social Week, 2 concerts were conducted. A concert of choral singing and performers with special needs, and at the end of the week, the concert Love Unites Us at the Maria Zankovecka National Academic Ukrainian Drama Theater. The Ecumenical Social Week started successfully in Ukraine 3 years ago, and during this time, it has managed to prove that such a social forum is extremely important. It allows the discussion of urgent subjects before a wide, concerned public and a search together for answers to questions which are raised by the present situation. Here, public initiatives and ideas are born. They are called to make the world kinder and more pleasant for all people. This year, the week gave an opportunity to sum up the 2 previous weeks and showed that we have something to work on and someone with whom to share experience. The organizers of the week have a deep hope that their initiative will attract a greater number of people of goodwill each year. and will promote both the strengthening of the state and of every person in society in particular.